Amy Strouth is my name, and Prairie Bakery and Restaurant is the name of my business. We started out just as a simple bakery with a little lunch, soup and sandwich type thing. We currently are now a full-service bakery, from breads and buns to cookies, bars, pies. Cakes, of course, are huge here. To now we have a full restaurant. We have breakfast starting as early as 5:30 in the morning. We go into lunch, and then we have a supper hour now. So we're open actually till 8 o'clock at night, 4 days a week, and then Fridays and Saturday night we're here till 9 to have those extended supper hours. We also offer catering services now, from a simple, cake and coffee anniversary party to full-blown meals of, roast beef, pork loins, the whole 9 yards there. So we are getting into, we haven't got everything done, we still want to get into some, add a salad bar and some other things for Friday and Saturday nights. Things that people are still looking for here in town that aren't currently offered. So it started out as a hobby, I guess. I like to decorate cakes and stuff. We looked into purchasing a small bakery, not the current one. Through some research and stuff, came down to Sheldon, found out that the Sheldon bakery was actually up for sale. And we started researching in probably January of 2009. Came down in March, April of 2009 to visit with the owners down here. We put an offer down in May, in June, and through the summer I had a lot of research. I called Retail Bakers of Association, contacted Kelly McCarty, SBDC, Mark Gall with the SCDC here in town. We had to find a local bank to work with. There was a lot of steps that needed to be done before we could actually purchase the bakery. And just find out, Kelly McCarty was able to put me in touch with a former baker that had a bakery over in Spencer for many, many years. Had wonderful conversations with Joe, and also Marion Brower, who had a bakery here in town many, many years ago. Had a couple conversations with him and his wife, so that we kind of know what we were getting into. However, we had to modernize a few things. You can do some things still old school, but running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week doesn't work in this day and age. So there's a few things we've had to turn around and kind of improvise on working hours. Everything goes well. The bakery does shut down about 2 a.m. Everybody's out of here. We reopen at 5:30, so we're not quite running 24 hours a day anymore. A lot of baking is actually getting done during the day hours. It's more efficient. People work better. The people love the smell of the breads and the buns being baked during the day. So a lot of that's kind of changed in that aspect. So I would say Kelly McCarty was a total key person. He helped me get financial projections put together. The first owners of the bakery gave us the basis of learning how to make breads and buns. I didn't do breads and buns and the bread lines. I was not at all had any knowledge of that and how to make that work. So we had to learn that whole aspect of the business. The cakes, the pies, and the bars, that was simple. That's the part we knew. We took what they were doing but just expanded it. I hired my mother. My husband works here and in the beginning worked with us quite a bit. He actually was the baker for quite a while. We had to work, Mark Gall with the SCDC, Citizen State Bank, the local bank here to help us get the financing put together, and then just being willing to talk to other people that are in the business. How do you do this? How do you grow this? From employee issues to then when we had to go and try to figure out how to move from one location to another. You've got architects, we had interior decorators, we had the construction company that I worked with that put up the building. Bob and I worked obviously very closely. the list of people is quite lengthy. This is not something you just do on your own. You have to work with a lot of people.
Okay.
This is something I decided I wanted to try. Was willing to do whatever it took to succeed. And it's long hours. It's sometimes low pay, and you have to be able to be willing to do what it takes to make it work. I like doing cakes. I like baking. I like doing the stuff that I don't get to do. My nickname at the conveyor company where I used to work was called Becky Homaki because I was always baking something or bringing something in or doing something crazy. And if we had an event, we'd have a potluck and I'd bring stuff in. And so I guess it's kind of where it started. And then we just found a need when we came to this community. There were so many needs that weren't being met. So some of it was the community came to me, can you do this? Can you do that? We never intended on being a full caterer too. A wonderful man, older gentleman came to me one day and had a small group of 60 and nobody wants to mess with the small groups. We love doing these little small groups. They're fun, you get to know the people. You don't have to stress over, well, we need 400 pounds of meat or, stuff like that. It was a need that was here in town, and so we took advantage of it, and we've made it profitable. The first time around, we worked with Kelly McCarty with the SBDC, but I had $15,000 of my own to invest, so that was basically the operating money we decided that we would need. Between the revolving loan fund here in town through the SCDC and Citizen State Bank, the three of us together financed the first purchase. When we went to expand into the second building, we of course used our local revolving loan fund again. We of course had all of our equipment, the existing equipment that was used for it. We went through Citizen State Bank here in town, and then we also went to O'Brien County and went through their revolving loan fund. So through those entities, and then the SBA, Kelly McCarty helped us go into the SBA so we could get lower interest rates financed longer for the project. The smaller communities, I guess, we have an advantage as entrepreneurs because they are more loyal to the smaller entrepreneurs, just because we're able, we can do more things and they're more flexible than your corporate-owned businesses. There's certain things that they're restricted on doing where we're our own boss. As far as the business people, they are very supportive of entrepreneurs. Do an enormous amount of business with us. Mark Gall always pops in. How you doing, Amy? Is there anything we can do for you? And that's with the SCDC. The chamber office is the same way. Anything we can do. The city guys, if we run into a little issue here and there, I know we had a water issue at one time, helped us track it down. They want to see the small businesses succeed. And, we employ 23 people. And for a business of our size, that's pretty good. Do your research. Understand that being an entrepreneur and being your own boss doesn't always mean you get to do what you want whenever you want. It might mean you're not taking vacations for a very long time. We took our first vacation in August and we were gone for 4 days, and I was a nervous wreck the whole time. So you've got to be dedicated. You've got to be willing to do some sacrificing. Your family has to be on board above everything, because if they're not on board, if you think you're only going to put in an 8-hour day and you're going to go home, this isn't for you. You have to be willing to network, modernize. We're still modernizing. We're working on getting a POS system in here. Computers and the internet can be your best friend. You've got to have that stuff. and just be willing to be open-minded. You have to listen to your customers. You have to listen to people around you. And in my industry especially, because if, a couple instances, they'll always remember the bad. You can do 10 things right, but if you do 2 things bad, that seems to be what seems to be the talk of the town. So in small towns, you have to be cautious. You have to know what you're doing. We've learned a few lessons along the way with that.